Hey guys, you know what? I don't think I'm ever gonna not be nervous live streaming on all of the platforms. It's really weird, the resistance that comes up for me when I do that. Okay, so this is my podcast episode, actually, Dyslexic Life with Jo Rees, the podcast, and I just decided to live stream it. And the reason why I've decided to live stream it is because I feel like this is a message that's going to resonate with lots of people. And I can't decide if it's profound common sense or just ridiculous, if I'm really honest. But October is Dyslexia Awareness Month, and I talk about dyslexia all year round. As somebody that is a social media content creator, a dyslexic content creator, I talk about dyslexia all year round. So I always find Dyslexia Awareness Month to be really weird, in as much as suddenly I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do that's different from my perspective, but also obviously kind of lots of people are talking about dyslexia in October, and I've been invited onto lots. I've been really fortunate, really privileged, been invited onto neurodiversity stories. I did a podcast with Stephen in New Zealand all about the truth about dyslexia. I went on his podcast. I did a webinar for Educate. I'm talking for the London Dyslexia Association tomorrow. So I guess I get invited to talk at quite a lot more things. But I think one of the things that is really interesting is this October, I decided that I was going to really look at my own dyslexia in quite a lot of detail, because I noticed that I was not forging myself forward as I had been before. There was a lot of self-doubt coming in about lots of different things. And actually, my audience, the people that needed supported, I'd had some feedback that from a couple of my one-to-one clients that they really enjoyed working with me because I didn't pretend like I had all of the answers, because nobody ever has all of the answers. But also, I am still working with my dyslexia daily. Like, not that everybody is always a work in progress. It's just that I've got a lot more skills and strategies to be able to manage dyslexia positively. I know when dyslexia is holding me back. I know when it might be procrastination. I know how to really unpick it. So I created the Dyslexia Accelerator Pack, which is still running. You can still join that if you want to. But it's like a little online program, like little micro mind that popped up, that basically every day I am sharing a strategy, a revelation, a realization, a hack, something that I have learned potentially historically about managing my dyslexia, but also sharing if something comes up about dyslexia on the actual day. I share that. That's what I share, because I feel like people need to know how I manage dyslexia in real time. And I'm working with a couple of coaches at the moment. And one of the things I had a realization with, and it was in the middle of the night, was that actually what most dyslexics lack isn't intelligence, it isn't literacy skill, it's confidence. Most dyslexic people lack confidence, and I can include myself in that. Like, my confidence is not consistent. Like, there are times when I feel super confident and I can kind of up level myself, or I can cope with stuff really, really easily. And there are other times where I massively doubt myself. And my realization throughout October, I've realized that this is my realization, is that actually, if I can learn to consistently manage my confidence, there will literally be no stopping me. Because the only thing that is different between what we perceive as being successful dyslexics and a dyslexic that isn't managing dyslexia well is confidence. That's the only difference. And yes, literacy skill can help to a certain extent, for sure. If we haven't got literacy skill, that is going to impact our confidence. But actually, if we can use technology, or we can find ways to bridge that gap, that can support our confidence. So then this led me down a bit of a rabbit hole, kind of like unpicking and trying to work out, like, why did I lack confidence? Like, when, like, sometimes I can be super confident. Where was my confidence dipping? And I've realized that often my confidence dips when I'm doing something different, because it reminds me of being back in the classroom. My confidence massively dips on LinkedIn. So again, I started this whole podcast episode, whole live, by saying I don't think I'll ever get rid of the resistance of live streaming across platforms. And, you know, I don't think anything of going live on TikTok. Got TikTok streaming here at the same time. Like, literally, I go live on TikTok and I do Q&As and I answer questions on TikTok all the time. But on LinkedIn, I don't do it anywhere near as much. And the reason why I don't do it anywhere near as much is because I don't feel as confident on that platform. And I've realized that there are a lot of fake stories that I'm telling myself. LinkedIn is where the intelligent people hang out. LinkedIn is where the business people hang out. LinkedIn, you know, what place have I got as a little content creator on LinkedIn? I haven't got anything of any value to say. Now, I have got something of value to say, and that is nobody else's problem. If I'm not confident enough to say it, that is my problem, if you like. It's my issue. And then that got me thinking. I'm telling you, there's been lots of rabbit holes, lots of realizations. That got me thinking. A couple of weeks ago, it must have been like the start of September, I posted a video on TikTok. And now I don't always claim to get, I don't always claim to get it right. And I am about supporting people for sure. But sometimes we have to hear things that we don't want to hear. Sometimes the truth is difficult to it's a difficult pill to swallow, isn't it? And I created a video that got quite a lot of traction quite quickly. And it started off with me saying, dyslexics, stop making your dyslexia everybody else's problem. And it got quite a lot of hate, if I'm really honest, and quite a lot of people underneath it saying, you know, I followed you, but you've really upset me. You've polarized me. You know, I'm actually going to unfollow you because of this video. And I lack confidence, so I took it down. And it's really kind of sat with me, like, because I think it was the right thing to take that video down, but it made me think about my behavior on social media in general. Again, coming back to confidence, like, because I thought I'd upset people, even though I knew, because when I've said before, whenever I create a piece of content I create, I either create it because it's making me feel better, it's a creative outlet, and I just feel better for sharing it. And if it reaches and helps one person, that's all that matters. I don't create content for it to reach mass views particularly. I create the content to educate people, to support people. So often when I create a piece of content, I create it with somebody in mind. So that particular video where I said, stop making dyslexia everybody else's problem, like it's your problem, you need to deal with it, was because I'd literally gone through my messages that day, and I must have had 10 messages from people telling me, asking me how they could apply for PIP, saying that you know, their school experience had been really awful, and basically the underlying tones of the messages was that the world owed them something. And I get it. I've been there. Being dyslexic is challenging at times. Like, it is not easy. But I'm going to come back to that in a minute, because actually it is easy when we're not struggling and when we're feeling confident. So when I was saying, you know, stop making dyslexia everybody else's problem, those were the people that I was speaking to. And actually, there's an element of, what are you doing yourself to meet people halfway? Like, you have to take some action yourself. If you're completely lacking confidence and you're sitting really quietly and you're being invisible, how do people even know that you need help? So that was quite interesting. And I guess with this kind of revelation of confidence is the word that keeps coming up, isn't it? It was like, actually, I wonder if I could be brave enough and feel confident enough to take that video out of my private and repost it again and see how it lands this time. Now, I'm not worried about what people think, because here's the thing. When I say that people with dyslexia lack confidence, It's the confidence to be brave, the confidence to be different, the confidence to make a mistake and own that mistake and learn from it, the confidence to try things, the confidence to be different, the confidence to put your hand up and ask the questions, the confidence to do things differently from the people around you, even if you are, even if you feel like you're being judged. You need to be confident if you know that it is the right way for you to do something. And that is what people with dyslexia lack. And that stems from being in a classroom where we have to comply and where we constantly are made to feel like we are not good enough. So what happens is all of these adults, all of these young people leave school as adults and they've got no inner confidence. They've got an inner voice that kind of wears them down. And that is what holds most dyslexics back. And that is what most dyslexics lack, I believe. So cue me now creating a load of content and courses that are going to be there to help people with dyslexia become more confident, because actually managing dyslexia is about knowing how it shows up for you. You don't need a diagnosis to manage dyslexia well. You just need to know what your barriers are, what your strengths are, how you're going to support your barriers or find ways around them, and have the confidence to find the strategies and use the strategies in public to support yourself, even if that is different from everybody else around you. And I think so I'm going to talk about something super personal now. So you'll know if you follow me on social media that I'm doing a conference on the Isle of Wight. And it's the second time I've done a conference. Last year, I was heavily supported by Hampshire Dyslexic Association, which was amazing. They help with funding and they help with admin. And this year, I am standing on my own 2 feet and doing it completely myself. Now, I have really struggled to secure sponsorship. And 10 days ago, well, there have been lots of times in the last couple of months where I have nearly cancelled it, and I haven't. But last Monday, 10 days ago, I absolutely did need to nearly cancel it because financially it was going to cost me a lot of money because I didn't have any sponsorships and we hadn't sold enough tickets. And I had to really dig deep. I did a lot of crying. I cried the whole of Monday night because I was like, I really didn't want to cancel it because it's really needed. The people that are coming are really excited about coming. And I did. I love to journal and I love to kind of really unpick what is going on. And I realized that I was running a narrative that was a fake story. So in my one-to-one Rebel Up program, the second module, the second call with my clients and the second 4 weeks is all about unpicking the fake stories from the real stories, because stories in the past shape us. Lots of things that happened in the past shape us. Some of those things are real, but some of them are fake. And the narrative that I have realized that I was running is that I'm a dyslexic victim. Now, often, I can call myself out on that. And because, if I'm really honest, everything I've done until this point has been really low key. If I've made a mistake or if something's gone wrong, it hasn't particularly been in the public domain. So nobody would have seen that mistake. So it wouldn't have mattered. I'm kind of reaching a whole new level with my business now, kind of a new level on social media, and a new level with the business. And it's all of a sudden, any mistakes I make are like super public. And I was like, oh my goodness, that victim story is out to play. That victim of, oh, poor Jo, she can't get a sponsorship. Poor Jo, it's going to cost her loads of money. Poor Jo, you've put all of those hours in. And what I've realized is, and I did post a little dancing video of this on TikTok yesterday because I thought I'm just going to be confident and put it out there, is so many people with dyslexia quit at the critical moment. Like literally, just as they are about to break through the ceiling and just as they are about to actually prove to themselves that they can do it, they stop backing themselves and they quit and they retreat. And I thought, if I do that, I'm running my Dyslexia Accelerator. I'm going to go full circle now back to Dyslexia Accelerator. And I'm actually modeling to the people that actually, oh, well, even for me, sometimes we just can't do things. And I don't really believe that we can't achieve anything we want to achieve. I genuinely believe that dyslexics can achieve anything they want to achieve. And I commented on a post this week. Michelle Patterson, the head teacher of Moon Hall Dyslexia School, posted a brilliant post about dyslexia being a superpower or not. And she had done a survey with her students, and it was really divided, like 50-50. And I've talked loads about how, for me, dyslexia is not a superpower. It will never be a superpower. I do think I've got strengths, but my reason why I don't believe dyslexia is a superpower is for no other reason than we all have a brain, we all have hands, we all have feet, we all have strengths. You know, as Dr. Z says, we have brains in our head, feet in our shoes. We can steer ourselves any direction we choose. And actually, it's how resilient we are, how driven we are, and how determined we are to move ourselves forward. Now, everybody is at a different start point, so it's going to take us longer to kind of move up that ladder, if you like. But for me, if I want to break through my next dyslexic ceiling, if you like, I've got to really dig deep. So I realized that actually there was still action that I could take to make the conference happen. There were still things I could do. I needed to really focus on the successes. You know, we've just sold nearly 2/3 of the tickets. We've got 51 people coming now. You know, we did have some smaller sponsorship, which was amazing. We just didn't have the big sponsor that we needed. So I made the decision to go to the test show on Friday and actually talk to people. So rather than it being email, talking to people, and that's what I did. I went and spoke to several people, and hopefully I've got everything crossed. Please cross everything for me. We have hopefully secured some sponsorship. And I also interviewed, I was really brave, really tried to be really confident. I also interviewed the CEO, Ellen Broom from the Dyslexia Association, did a video with her. I've got lots more videos actually I recorded, not with her, but with other people. I just haven't had a chance to edit them yet. But it made me realize that actually confidence is everything. Having the confidence to go and say to the CEO of the British Dyslexia Association, you don't really know who I am, but I do have a big social media following. Please, could I do a video with you that I can post to my community? Having the confidence to go up to people and say, look, I'm running a conference on the Isle of Wight. I'm looking for people that might want to get their products out there and put a product in my goodie bag for a small fee to help us cover the cost, because it's a not-for-profit event. At the same time, you'll be getting your product out to a whole new audience. It's all about confidence, and confidence is the thing that I think so many dyslexics lack because of their educational experience. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I've waffled, I've ranted, I've preached for 18 minutes and 2 seconds. I will go ahead now and post this over on my podcast platform. Podcast is called At Dyslexic Life with Jo Rees. The podcast, original name I know. You'll find it on all podcast platforms. And there are obviously previous episodes there. Please do go back and listen to them. It's also going to be, this video will also be posted on YouTube. But I have to end, because it's a podcast, I have to end by singing. And I'm going to do this confidently today now, because I do love singing. I love singing. I sing in a band. I'm thinking about going back to musical theatre. And again, I really wanted to do musical theatre like my girls did, but I didn't, because I lacked confidence. I didn't think I was good enough, and I didn't pursue that dream. I didn't develop the skills I needed to do. I sabotaged myself. But anyway, there we have it. Right. So I can't procrastinate anymore. Are we ready? Always look on the dyslexic side of life, because it's great. It's really, really great. Have a great week, and I will be back next week.